Hello everyone, and welcome to the whole-scale Canadian National Railway Sanmore Subdivision.
Hello everyone! Long time no see, right? I know it's been close to a year and a half since my last update. Things have been crazy here, both on and off the layout, and I have some stuff there that I wanted to show you, but I've been putting it off. Well, actually I did do a video, a tutorial on how to watch paint dry. Yeah, I didn't think it would be really a smashing hit. so, so that video went straight to the garbage. All kidding aside, like I said, it's been a while since I've done an update, and I'm now ready to at least do a small update. I've decided to change the format for the videos. The videos will be shorter now. I know I've been saying that for a couple of times now, but this time I'll stick to it. I'll make the videos a little bit shorter, because long videos, people just lose interest, and that's no fun. So today will just be a quick walk around the layout. I'll just show you the things that I've done in the past year and a half. I'm not going to go into detail in any of the things that you're gonna see right now. I will do other short videos, and I'll take probably one subject per video, and that'll make for a lot more content, a lot more videos, and shorter videos. So I think that's going to be a better format for everyone. So, all right, what a better place to start than right at the beginning here. So this is the staging yard in Oak Ridge, which is one of the starting point or ending point to my layout. And as you can see here in Oak Ridge, I have the backdrop that's completed. Actually, I work into phases. So one of the phases of the layout was to build the backdrops, and the backdrops are now almost complete. I'd say about 99% complete. So that's one phase that I can put behind me. And there's 400 linear feet of backdrop on this layout. Now, granted, there's no backdrop where there's going to be large buildings like this entire wall here, which is going to be the paper mill complex. But still, there's at least 300 feet of backdrop that I printed and that I glued to the wall, and for quite a good result, I think. I like it, and for amazingly cheap. I mean, for just the cost of the paper and the ink. And on top of that, you get the flexibility of designing what you want. Like if you look at this photo here, I think there's like 5 different scenes here that I just meshed together in CorelDRAW to create this this little scene. So it offers a lot of flexibility and does a great job. And as usual, I just painted the clouds on there with the spray can. Really quick clouds there. I didn't want the skies to be too busy. I don't want to take away from the layout, but still, I mean, you just look at this and the layout already looks like it's got some scenery on it, and there's not an inch of scenery on this layout. It already looks a lot better. Now the phase that was right after the backdrops was to cover the entire layout with the initial coat of hard shell scenery. And I'm very happy to announce that this here is the very last little strip of hard shell that needs to be done. I have the newspaper in place. I've got my sheets of fabric softener here, and I'm ready to get that covered. So that means that the layout is now operational. I don't have my car cards done. I still need to convert some locomotives to rail and install some decoders in there. I still have cars that are in boxes that need wheels and couplers and weathering and renumbering, but trains are running, as you could see in the introduction video by my good friend Emil. We had a couple of little operating sessions where we just run trains around and switch cars, and it's been a lot of fun. So moving on here to the holding yard for the paper mill in Campbellstoke. You can see here that again I've got some backdrop that's been printed and installed. A few more clouds here and there. I'll try not to walk too fast so the camera doesn't get too shaky here. I'm doing this with my phone, so bear with me here. I'm on a budget. And more hard shell scenery here as we exit the yard in Campbellstoke. We enter the main line, and let me just turn around here. There will be a little scene here, a little culvert, probably a little beaver dam or something. I don't know. I did play around with the backdrop there so that I could have some water, a little water feature here. And got this street. This is actually the road to my house here, and I just took a photo of the I took a photo of the street, the road, and then I just pasted it on the forest scene here. Now moving on to Allensburg. There's the recycling center here. I've added some piles of scraps here, again with a lot of backdrop that's been printed and put into place. And here I still have some work to do with the styrofoam. This will be a large quarry, and from there all the way out to here, this will be a large quarry. So I want to try to have a pop pop out, or a pop-up section. This piece of foam right there will pop out so that I can have access from behind the scene, because this is quite a deep scene. I'd say this is at least 5 feet from the fascia here to the corner. So that's going to be impossible to do any scenery or anything. Fortunately, there's no track that goes all the way back there for operation purposes, but still, that could be problematic. So I'm trying to have a pop-out section here. Now this is nice here, a little corridor where you have the tunnel on one side, the river on the other side. Again, I'll just swing around here. There you go. Nice little scene here with the backdrop. And what I did for my backdrop this time is, when I installed the backdrop for the river, the river part, I curled it from the wall here, and I curled it around to the flat surface. Now, once I put my once I finish my riverbed and I try to gel all of that together, there won't be any joint that'll showing between the wall and the flat surface here. So this should look like, you know, it's continuous, not like you're hitting a wall and then all of a sudden the river goes up the wall. I'm hoping that's going to work. I did that a couple of places on the layout, but I've seen it. I've seen some other modelers who've done it, and it worked for them. Of course, they're better artists than I am, but I'll try to figure it out there. Now we are headed to Chattaway Falls. Now in Chattaway Falls, don't get excited, I did not build any buildings yet. This is just a quick building that I built. It's like a 30-minute job. I just went on a computer and I just designed one section of wall, and I just copy pasted over and over again, and I printed that on paper, and I just glued that paper to, I can show you here, to some little sticks, just so that I could get a general idea of what this building might look like, at least for the footprint. How does it gel with the tracks and height-wise and everything else? The actual building that I'm going to build there is probably going to be a bit different from this printout. You know me, it's probably going to be a lot more complicated than that. But for the moment, this does the job. It gives me the footprint, and that's just what I wanted. And I'm probably going to do that for all of my buildings before I build them. This also helps when you're operating, and at least, you know, you're switching next to a building, even if it's not really a building, but it still gives the illusion, and it's kind of fun. Again, more backdrops here. Now, this is my major yard. This is Chattaway Falls, and it's a major yard. And granted, it's being the biggest yard on the railroad, it's still a small yard. There's not that many tracks on there. And I wanted the yard to feel a lot bigger. And I looked for photos of yards to put in my backdrop, but I could not find anything. So what I did is I took some photos of my own cars in the yard, in the holding yard in Campbellstoke. And I pasted these cars with the tracks onto the mountain scene here. And I pasted some, not really field, but some weeds, dried up weeds, to give it some distance. And if I can back up here enough, this makes my yard look a lot bigger than it is. And it's actually using the cars that I have on my layout. Of course, that might be a kind of a running gag, because now if somebody's looking for that CSX auto rack, it's in the yard and it's on the backdrop. So yeah, well, there you go, confusion, and it's going to be fun. But I love the illusion that it's given, and I wanted to share that with you. I thought that was kind of fun. So again, moving on towards the city of Chattaway Falls. This is the industrial district. Again, just the this is just the flat, not even a flat, it's just a printout of a building, and I will be actually making a flat that'll go there. I named this building Brown Industrial, which is the company that I named after my good friend Ben Brown. And it ties in with the layout because all of my panels, all of my hardware for the signaling is labeled Brown Industrial, as you can see here. So it's all fictitious, but it's kind of fun to have that tied in with an actual building on the layout. Now over here, not much progress done, but I'm working on the layout of the town of Chattaway Falls, so that'll come up later. I'm going to be removing the turntable because I need the space for buildings for the town, and I've not used the turntable in all the time that I've had it here. I guess it just doesn't fit with my modern operating scheme, so that'll be removed. Now, another project that I completed, for those who follow me on Facebook, you've seen this one. This is the bridge over the Chattaway Falls River, which is actually based on a prototype in Rivière-du-Loup, Quebec. Of course, the one in Rivière-du-Loup is a double track, mine is a single track, but it's loosely based on that, especially on this end here where the street goes under the tracks. So, and again, I curved my backdrop there so that it looks like it's continuous. Hopefully that's going to work. And I will, like I said, be making a video just on this bridge here, how I made it, the tools I used, the products I used, because it's entirely scratch built once again. So I'm not going to waste any of your time here. And now we're headed towards Douglas Cove, and again, more hard shell scenery that's done. And now we're starting to reach the industrial district of Douglas Cove. And here you can see I have a few buildings that are planned. Those are actually the skeletons that I'll be using to scratch build the buildings. These are laser cut out of masonite, and eventually I'll do the skins that'll cover up the buildings, and then all the details. So this is how I'm planning to make all of my buildings, with masonite. It's cheap, and it's somewhat, I can somewhat cut it on the laser engraver. As you can see, it burns a little bit, but that's okay because that's not going to show. So this here will be my my trucking company here, and over here I have the Irving Oil transloading facility with the office, which is based on the office in Edmundston, New Brunswick. I've done this exact scene here on my N-scale layout back when I was in Edmundston. So I decided to, as a tribute to my N-scale layout, recreate that exact same scene. So you'll have the office here and the large capacity, the large tank, and all the smaller tanks here. Now I've been working on the ramp itself. I started with the ramp because, you know, once the inspiration hits, I gotta do something about it. Gotta work on it. So I decided to build that ramp. Again, this is all scratch built using laser board. Mostly, sorry, just had breakfast. I didn't want you to hear that. Mostly laser board that's been lasered, but I did do a little bit of brass with these little things here, which are adjustable. Those little ramps are adjustable sideways, and when they're not in use, they're put up. When they're in use, they're lowered onto the tank cars, and it looks something like this here. So that's kind of fun. Now I will be modifying a little bit that ramp because I didn't do any planning, I didn't do any research, and when looking at my site here, I decided that, you know, I need some piping to get that that oil from the ship into the tanks, and then from the tanks into the tank cars. So in order to do that, because the space is very limited, I'm going to run the pipes that feeds the tank car between the supports, and these pipes will come from this side here. They'll be connected to these large tanks. So I need to be able to cross over from that side of the track to this side of the track and in between the supports. So I'll need to run that these pipings at the end of the track here and swerve around and go like in this direction here. So I'll have to remove these steps here, and I've actually rebuilt these steps with an extension. Oops, nothing's glued in place yet, so that's why everything's loose here. Well, anyways, you get the idea. There. It's not gonna stay, is it? There. So now I'll be able to run the pipes underneath the staircase here, and then I'll be able to go between the supports to feed each car. And for the pipeline itself, I'll be using some styrene tubing, like so. And what I did is I designed a bunch of parts which I 3D printed. Now I didn't do any research on these. I just designed what I thought would be, you know, logical. So I have valves and couplers and angles and stuff like that. So now if we continue in Douglas Cove, I took some photos of the bay here. This is about a 5-minute walk from my house. When I say I go to the beach to walk the dogs, it's this is where I go. This is just the bay area here. The ocean is on the other side of these little islands there. So I took some photos, and again, I using Corel Draw, I tried to blend everything in to fit with what I needed here, because here we're heading towards the large fertilizer plant, so I didn't want to have the fertilizer plant, you know, too close to the bay. And that's why there's no backdrop for that little part there. That will be the fertilizer plant, so that'll be all buildings. No use in putting backdrops if I'm going to cover it with buildings. No work done on the car ferry yet. That's a big job, and it's I've never built anything shipwise, so I have no idea how I'm going to do this. So that's why I keep putting it off. For operation purposes, I just might use a little piece of foam and glue some tracks to it, just so that we have something that will simulate the car ferry. But that's a huge project that I'm very puzzled on how I'm going to do it, but I'll figure it out eventually. Now, I haven't mentioned this scene a lot because I was keeping it for a surprise, but this area here, which I call the canyon, which will be the signature scene on my layout, will feature scenery from floor to ceiling. So this is a huge mountain, which I just finished covering when I started. I've been on vacation for a couple of weeks now. So when I started my vacation, that was the first thing that I wanted to get done, was to cover that huge mountain. So right now it's covered. It's got the hard shell scenery with the fabric softener sheets, and this stuff is incredibly solid because I'll be putting pounds and pounds and pounds of plaster on there. So we need it to be really stiff and really solid, and I'm very happy with the result. Now the entire area will be covered with plaster castings to simulate the rock outcroppings. So you can just imagine, I don't know if I can back up far enough here, but you can just imagine the amount of plaster castings that are going to go in there. That'll take probably years to build, but that'll be the signature scene on my layout. It's going to be really nice. Something I've been wanting since 1977, ever since I saw John Allen's layout in a Mall Railroader magazine. I was 10 years old, and I said, holy crap, one of these days, when I'm old, and I'm old, so gotta get it done. So when I'm old, I'm going to have a layout that's going to have a scene like that. So yeah, call me a copycat. I don't care. I want it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it for myself, and it's going to be great. Now this bridge scene here, I've completed the hard shell scenery again, but I haven't done anything else except to fit that bridge in place. Now I had to remove it to do the hard shell scenery, so I'm going to have to refit it. But at least all the footings are where they are supposed to be, and when the bridge is properly installed, it's nice and level, and it looks really good. So that's more scenery that's coming up. Now this area you have already seen in my previous update video. I have not done anything to it except looking at it once in a while to give me some hope. But yeah, nothing new here. Same old rock outcropping, and tunnel here, no changes. Actually, there's been no changes from this part on, because this was already done in my last update video. So there you go, end to end, all the way to the other staging yard over there. Now in future videos I will talk about that bridge that I built. I will also talk about this little pickup here, which is my radio controlled truck. And I don't know, I'll find something else. Probably we'll talk about the Irving oil loading facility eventually. But for the moment, this is the general tour of the layout. Okay, well, there you go, folks. That was a very short video. It'll probably be the fastest edit I've ever done. But like I said, I'm going to keep these videos short, straight to the point. Today's goal was just to give you a quick tour of the layout. And like I said, I'll be making a couple of short videos on stuff that I've showed you here today. I'll be talking about the bridge and the radio control truck and a lot of stuff there. So I don't know, again, I don't know when. I'm working on it. It's just that my vacation time is over and I'll be working again, and work is very crazy, and then when I'm not working there's always things to do here at home, but I'll try to fit in a little bit of footage here and there. So I should have some videos for you guys shortly. So I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think, and stick around. So I'll see you trackside. You take care now.